top 50 wide receivers by tiers, week 3. Jeffrey, let's get it started.
Yes, sir.
Week 3 must-start wide receivers. Read them off, Jeffrey.
CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Nabers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Drake London, Zay Flowers, Nico Collins.
Let's get the obvious ones out of the way. CeeDee Lamb is tied for the most targets so far this year, and he has 0 end zone targets. That changes his week in a good matchup. Puka Nacua is the PPR wide receiver 1 on the year. Enough said. Amon-Ra St. Brown and Malik Nabers went absolutely nuclear last week, both scoring over 35 points. Obviously starting them. Even when Justin Jefferson has a backup quarterback, you start him because he's Justin Jefferson. Also, Carson Wentz might be better than J.J. McCarthy, low key. Jamar Chase is the second best wide receiver in football. Even without Joe Burrow, you start him every week. Jason's been incredible this year, second most receptions and receiving yards so far. And they go up against the Saints. Don't scare you. He is questionable right now with an illness. That's all I got. I think we should monitor that, but I think he's going to be fine. Drake London had a disappointing week last week. This is a better matchup against the Falcons, and I think he'll bounce back. Welcome to the must-starts, Zay Flowers. For the first time of the year. He's currently wide receiver 5. I don't know how long that's going to last, but I'm riding the hot hand. Especially in the highest over-under of the week. Man, I can't wait till that game. Looking for Nico Collins to bounce back in a good matchup against the Jaguars. He has the 4th most end zone targets, but only 1 touchdown. I think that they're going to connect this weekend. All right, Jeffrey, move over to the solid starts. Wide receivers that are solid start in week 3. Read it off, Jeffrey.
Romeo Odunze, Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, Brian Thomas Jr., A.J. Brown, Lad McConkey, Tetairoa McMillan, Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, Jacoby Myers, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf.
I'm comfortable starting any one of these guys, so let's start at the top. Romeo Doubs is the clear number 1 wide receiver for the Chicago Bears. He has 42% of the wide receiver targets. That's a lot. He's also top 12 in targets, receptions, yards, and tied for number 1 in touchdowns. And he has an amazing matchup against the Dallas Cowboys in the second highest over-under of the week. Starting to second guess me not having him in must-starts. Garrett Wilson is the only show in town, so he's going to get a majority of the targets. I'm not expecting Justin Fields to play, so we're going to have Tyrod Taylor. They're 6.5-point underdogs, so they're going to have to throw it. Unfortunately, their implied point total is 18.5, which is really low. Probably because my Bucs defense is good. But he'll get the volume and be a solid start. The opportunities between Davante Adams and Puka Nacua might be closer than you think. They're tied in targets with 20. That's 7th in the league. The difference is Puka's caught 18 of 20. Davante Adams has only caught 10 of 20. But when they get in close, Davante Adams is clearly the dude. Don't even get me started on end zone targets. 5 yards and in, Puka Nacua has 0 targets 5 yards and in. Davante Adams is tied for the league lead in end zone targets with 5. 5-0. Unfortunately, they're playing the Philadelphia Eagles, so he might get shadowed by Quinyon Mitchell. That's not good. And he'll be on Adams more than he's on Puka, because Puka's going to be in the slot. Shout out to Mike Clay's shadow metrics. You're obviously still starting Davante Adams. He's an absolute beast. Brian Thomas Jr. has been very disappointing so far this year. He only has 60 total yards on the season. He has the 3rd most yards on his team. And he's not even behind Travis Hunter. He's behind Dyami Brown and Parker Washington. What? It's only week 3. We've only had 2 weeks, so everybody relax. But I'm going to be watching him go up for balls, and I'm hoping that Trevor stops sending him hospital balls and he stops alligator arming it. We'll see. He's also projected to be shadowed by Derek Stingley Jr. That's not good. The volume's gonna still make him a solid start, but I need to start seeing some production. A.J. Brown only has 6 receptions for 35 yards so far this year and 0 red zone targets. My goodness. I know they don't care about my fantasy football team. I get it. Well, to be clear, I don't have him on any of my teams. I traded him away last year in Dynasty and didn't draft him this year. But I still gotta believe that this is going to change. It will not stay this bad. But when? I'm hoping this week. The Rams aren't a terrible matchup. The over-under is okay, 6th highest. The Rams' run defense is solid, so maybe they'll have to throw it a little more. But, I mean, they got Saquon Barkley. Let's be real. Let's be honest. It doesn't matter. Saquon Barkley's a beast. I think it's going to be game script dependent in when he dominates. Both him and DeVonta Smith are tied for targets with 9 through 2 games. I'm hoping for a big game, but I don't even know if a big game is going to make me think this goes away. I think that this is just a thing. I think they're going to use him when they need him, and when they don't, they won't. Because their goal is to go back to the Super Bowl, not to get A.J. Brown 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns. I got a feeling he's about to be reading some books soon, though. McConkey is currently wide receiver 37. And that's probably because there are 2 top 12 wide receivers on his team right now. Keenan Allen is 12th, and Quentin Johnston is 7th. Quentin Johnston is mainly driven by the 3 touchdowns, and Keenan Allen does have 2 touchdowns to McConkey's 0. But let's focus on Ladd and Keenan for a minute, because the Quinshon Judkins thing, I think, is going to be a roller coaster. The target split between Keenan Allen and McConkey, I don't think is really going anywhere. I think that they're going to split. Now, right now, Keenan has 3 more targets, but we're 2 games in. I think that's close enough to basically say they're going to split work, which is what I thought as soon as they signed Keenan Allen. It's not that McConkey is bad. It's just Keenan Allen is also good and has a rapport with Justin Herbert. Now, I do think that McConkey is still a solid start, but that gap between him and Keenan in my rankings gets closer and closer every week. Also, according to Mike Clay, Pat Surtain is not going to be on McConkey or Keenan Allen. He's going to be on Huge because he plays in the outside. The other 2 guys are moving around and they're in the slot and stuff. On to the next one. Tetairoa McMillan has had a fantastic start to his rookie year. He's 8th in yards with 168. He hasn't gotten a touchdown yet, but they're trying. He's 10th in red zone targets. And him being the clear number 1 on a bad offense, I just think they're going to keep feeding the beast. Right now, he's 12th in targets, and I see that continuing. Fire him up. Mike Evans and Emeka Egbuka are back-to-back in my rankings. I give the slight edge to the veteran Mike Evans. I'm just a lot more comfortable with the targets. Mike Evans is 9th in targets right now with 19. Compared to Egbuka with 13. He's got 6 more targets in 2 games. So I think Evans is the clear number 1. Though he's not getting the touchdowns yet, they will come. Mike Evans is a 8 to 12 type touchdown guy at this stage in his career, and they're going to start flowing in. I don't know about this week, though, because he's probably going to get shadowed by Sauce Gardner, which makes me a little nervous. But I think his target share is going to be good enough to start him. It is a tough matchup, though. On the flip side, like I said before, Emeka Egbuka may only have 8 receptions, but he is making them count. 3 of those 8 receptions went for touchdowns. He's tied for the league in touchdowns, by the way. Just got to get that volume up. 13 targets is not good enough. That's really the only thing that makes me nervous about him. Well, that and the fact that he does have a groin and a hip injury right now. But we got to monitor that. Keep in mind, Chris Godwin will be coming back soon, but I think that that's going to be a slow ramp up. I don't think you start back hot when you come off an injury that severe. Jacoby Myers might be one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. No one ever talks about him. He's 6th in targets, 9th in yards, and no, he doesn't have any touchdowns yet, but he does have 2 end zone targets, and clearly Geno is trying to get him the ball. Fire him up. I think Deebo Samuel might be the number 1 on this team right now. He has the most targets on the team, 13th overall in opportunities for wide receivers. And with Jayden Daniels out, I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to get more creative with getting him involved. He's definitely hurting Terry McLaurin's value, that's for sure. The good news is DK Metcalf is the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The bad news is I don't know how much that matters right now. His target share amongst wide receivers is huge. 52% of the wide receiver targets. But they throw the ball a lot to their running backs. So team-wise, he's only 22% target share. But push all that out the window. He only has 13 targets. That's 33rd in the league amongst wide receivers. That is not good. Better hope Christian Gonzalez is not there this week, because that'll be a completely different matchup. Because if he does, it's going to be a long weekend. If not, he might be solid. Patriots have not been good against a wide receiver, so he could eat. That's enough with the solid starts. Let's move on to the flex. Week 3 wide receiver flexes. Jefferson?
Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Marvin Harrison Jr, Courtland Sutton, Jameson Williams, Terry McLaurin, T. Higgins, Jauan Jennings, Michael Pittman Jr, Chris Olave, Ricky Pearsall.
I tried to tell y'all about my dog Keenan Allen before the season started, but ain't nobody want to listen. I said he was going to be a problem for your boy Lab McConkey being top 10. Not saying Lab McConkey's bad, not saying that Lab McConkey's cooked. I'm just saying he closer to 15, 20 than he is to 10. Just saying. Keenan Allen is a dude, bro. And he's not going anywhere. Unless there's an injury, knock on wood, because he old. Keenan Allen is a flex that's knocking on the door for solid start. Steal in draft. He's 14th in receptions. And he's got 2 touchdowns. That's top 5. He's got more targets, receptions, and touchdowns than Lad. Not that Lad won't catch up, because I think it's going to be back and forth all year long. My entire argument is Keenan Allen is here to stay, and he's a dude. He's not just going to be some side piece. He's 1B to Lad McConkey's 1A. But it ain't A and B like CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, where CeeDee Lamb is just going to be the main guy and Pickens is going to get the leftovers. They're going to split the work, as they should. Keenan Allen's good. But enough about Keenan Allen. Big fan of what's been happening. Keep it up, Keenan. Just got to stay healthy. And I don't think Lad McConkey's terrible, by the way. I just don't think he's top 10 with Keenan Allen on the team. Let's talk about another receiver that I was down on to start the year. DJ Moore, oh how the mighty have fallen. He's clearly the number 2 in this offense. Only 11 targets on the year compared to Romeo Doubs' 18. I mean, honestly, Rome is outpacing him in everything. Targets, receptions, yards, touchdowns. I will say this though. I think DJ Moore could have a solid game this week. I'm not afraid of the Cowboys defense. I liked it as the second highest over-under. So if there was a spot where DJ Moore performed, I think it would be this game. I think people just need to lower their expectations for DJ Moore right now. I feel like people look at him like a fringe wide receiver 1 when he's really like a low-end wide receiver 2 flex play. The crazy thing is, they haven't started getting Colston Loveland involved or Luther Burton. At some point, those dudes are going to be relevant, right? Right? Y'all drafted them in the first and second round for a reason, right? Come on, Bears. The only sure thing is Romeo Doubs. Moving on, actually in the same matchup. Well, it's clearly not a wide receiver A and B in regards to targets because CeeDee Lamb is dominating that. 24-12. Pickens has literally half. But I will say this. He does have something that CeeDee Lamb doesn't have, and that's end zone targets. George Pickens has 5 end zone targets, tied for the most amongst all wide receivers. CeeDee Lamb has 0. No end zone targets? Y'all don't target him at all in the end zone? 5 yards in it, obviously. I think that changes this week against the Chicago Bears. It's the second highest over-under of the week. I think Pickens is a good start here. I want pieces of this game and honestly, fire almost everybody up. Marvin Harrison Jr. might be the wide receiver 1 on his team, but he is not the number 1 option. That would be Trey McBride. He commands targets. Currently 15-10. You only got 10 targets, man? What is going on? On a bright note, he is at least targeted in the red zone. He has 5 targets in the red zone. That's 10th most amongst all wide receivers. And to be fair, they've really not played any good teams so far, so you don't really got to sling it going up against the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers. They were, I don't want to say not trying, but they kind of had the game in the bag, especially for that Panthers game. What are they going to do when they go up against the San Francisco 49ers? That's what I want to see. I will be very, very tuned into this matchup and seeing how is he utilized. And I might have to go back into the all-22 film to look at it because something's going on. Courtland Sutton had a rough week last week. Troy Franklin really got all the work. I think that he should bounce back. He's still the number one on this team, and they're getting him involved in the red zone, so I'm not overly concerned, but definitely a rough week. Jameson Williams is a boomer bust kind of player. It's just how he's set up. He's top 20 in yards, but 56 in targets. That means when he catches the ball, he's downfield. He's hitting it. Not this small little dink and dunk stuff. No. You get a catch for Jameson Williams, and you probably taking it to the house 50 yards. But if you don't get it, you're not going to get those easy little catches to pad his stats. You kind of really need the bigger plays because he's not getting very many targets. He currently has 9 on the year, which is not a lot, especially because they've scored 50 points in a game. There's got a lot of talent on the team. But this is the highest over-under of the week. 53.5 points. I want pieces in this game, and if he's going to hit a big one, it's probably going to be in this one. So fire up your Jameson Williams. Thank God Terry McLaurin got paid because woo-wee, I think this might be a rough season. Not like he's going to be trash. It's just not a season you want to have when you're trying to get paid. It's the one you want after you get paid. I think he's the number 2 on this team right now, but not by much. I mean, it's really like 1A, 1B. I just think Deebo's more explosive. He's catching a lot more of his targets. Terry McLaurin's only really catching half of his targets. He has 14 targets. He's caught 7 of them. Deebo's had 17. He's caught 14. And he's getting involved in the running game. And he's had 0 end zone targets. Did I mention that Jaden Daniels is out and you're going to have Marcus Mariota? Mariota's fine. He's not terrible. He's not great. He's fine. I'm slightly nervous about T. Higgins. Not a lot, but a little. So it's tied for the lowest over-under of the week, meaning Vegas does not think a lot of points are going to be scored. They're facing the Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings are really good against a wide receiver. He's getting half the amount of targets that Jamar Chase is getting. And it's not Joe Burrow throwing you the ball. You got Jake Browning, who, as far as backups go, pretty solid. I just don't think the targets are going to be there. Vegas doesn't think a lot of points are going to be scored. And the matchup isn't very good. Could he get into the end zone? He could always get into the end zone. He's a talented wide receiver that plays football. I am a little nervous for this week, though. It's not like a forever T. Higgins is going to be bad thing. I think it's a combination of everything. It's the matchup, the over-under, plus he's not getting a bunch of targets, plus he doesn't have Joe Burrow. He's T. Higgins, so he's going to be flex play. But not the best flex play he's ever been. Jauan Jennings had 10 targets with Mac Jones. As long as he's healthy, I think he's going to be a solid flex play. Michael Pittman Jr. has been up and down so far. It's only been 2 games, but up and down. But he's going to get shadowed by Janarius Sneed. That makes me a bit nervous. He's not a bench, but I would temper your expectations for him. He's also had 0 end zone targets. Chris Olave is all about the volume. He's second in targets so far this year. He's the clear-cut number 1 in the offense. Number 2 is Jauan Jennings. But he's getting targets everywhere. He's also second in red zone targets. He's just got to connect. Him and Radler are just not on the same page. But the targets are there. Ricky Pearsall is also a solid flex. Moving on to the questionable flexes. These wide receivers are questionable flexes in week 3. Give me the list, Jeffrey.
DeVonta Smith, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley, Wan'Dale Robinson, Quentin Johnston,
Troy Franklin,
Cooper Kupp, Jerry Jeudy, Stefon Diggs, Travis Hunter, Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden,
Cedric Tillman. DeVonta Smith only has 9 targets on the year. That's 56th in the league amongst all wide receivers. That's terrible. I am getting slightly worried, mainly because they're winning this way. And they won't change if they keep getting dubs. I do think different game scripts are going to be called for them to pop off. But I think it's going to be like this. This Rams game is going to be telling because I think that the Rams can give them a run for their money. So if they do, are they going to use the firepower of slinging it? Because they can. They're good receivers. And I think Jalen Hurts can get them the ball. It's just whether or not they really want to. Marquise Brown came back down to earth from 16 targets down to 5 targets last week. That makes sense. I think he's an okay play against the Giants. they got to score, don't they? Calvin Ridley's been disappointing. Hasn't been top 50 in either game so far this year, but looking to bounce back. I would like to get those end zone targets and those red zone targets up because he's only had one of them. But, I mean, to be fair, rookie quarterback, it's been tough sledding. They've had some bad matchups. And now they face the Colts, which I think might actually be good. It's always possible that Quentin Johnston gets a deep touchdown. He's a speedster. He's already got 3. I do think this is not a good matchup for that, though, mainly because Pat Surtain is probably going to be on him, and he's one of the best corners in the league. You can roll the dice with Troy Franklin. I like that he's had 15 targets so far. That's good. Cooper Kupp came back to life last week. Thank goodness, because it was terrible in week 1. Looking to see if he can stack up 2 decent games in a row. Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman have a tough matchup this week against the Packers. They've been really good so far this year. That defense is for real. Diggs has a solid matchup against the Steelers, but I'm not overly excited about him until I see him have a good game. He's been pretty meh so far. Surprised I haven't seen a big play from Travis Hunter yet. Hasn't really wowed me for any real reason. I think that's to come, to be frank. I just don't think it's happened yet. I'm rooting for the kid. Maybe it'll happen in this game. He won't be shadowed, but Brian Thomas Jr. might. Romeo Doubs and Matthew Golden will both see a tick up in opportunities with Jaden Reed going down to an injury. That pie just got a little bit smaller. Honorable mentions to Joshua Downs, Alec Iamaner, Darnell Mooney, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Renfrow, and Raheem Shaheed. Whew, that was a lot of players. Let's do a quick recap. Top 50 PPR wide receivers by tier, week 3. Read them off, Jeffrey.
CeeDee Lamb, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Malik Nabers, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Jaxon Smith-Njigba, Drake London, Zay Flowers, Nico Collins.
Wide receivers that are a solid start.
Romeo Doubs, Garrett Wilson, Davante Adams, Brian Thomas Jr, AJ Brown, Lad McConkey, Tetairoa McMillan, Mike Evans, Emeka Egbuka, Jacoby Myers, Deebo Samuel, DK Metcalf,
wide receiver flexes.
Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, George Pickens, Marvin Harrison Jr, Courtland Sutton, Jameson Williams, Terry McLaurin, T. Higgins, Jauan Jennings, Michael Pittman Jr, Chris Olave, Ricky Pearsall.
Questionable flexes.
DeVonta Smith, Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley, Wan'Dale Robinson, Quentin Johnston,
Troy Franklin,
Cooper Kupp, Jerry Jeudy, Stefon Diggs, Travis Hunter, Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden,
Cedric Tillman. Honorable mentions to Joshua Downs, Alec Iamaner, Darnell Mooney, Kendrick Bourne, Hunter Renfrow, and Raheem Shaheed. So that's going to do it for my wide receiver episode. Who did I have too high? Who did I have way too low? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and the notification bell down below. If you have any questions, hit me up. I look forward to answering your questions. Good luck in your matchups. I'll see you soon, Bay Nation. Peace.